getting an opponent and keeping an opponent.
Yeah.
And things kept changing. So what was that like for you along the way? I mean, was there ever a point you thought, I guess I'm not going to fight this week?
No, not really. Like, it was something that we talked about a lot during camp, that like I could test positive for COVID, she could test positive, my corners could test positive. Like, I'd heard stories of fighters coming to Fight Island by themselves, and I was like, well, that might have to be me. So like, honestly, we just really prepared for it, and I've gotten so much better at rolling with the punches like that and not being too stressed out that when Mick called, I saw his name pop up on my caller ID. I was like, oh, here we go. It's never good when they call you, fight week or even during your camp. So he worked really hard to find a replacement. Then the replacement that he found also tested positive for COVID. So and then but by that night he had found a good replacement, So I'm excited. It's honestly just one more challenge, like, for me to kind of overcome, and these stressors that you have to deal with. It's good practice. Like, the more I can be successful dealing with this kind of stress, the better off I'll be. So yeah, not a bad thing at all.
So it sounds like you were ready for all possibilities. So with that in mind, like when they call with another name, do you bother like looking them up, or what do they fight like? Or, I mean, are you looking at tape, or are you just like, it's a name, let's go?
Oh yeah, well, for sure we looked her up and want to make sure that she's got a decent record, and that it's I don't want to say like worth my time, like that sounds awful, but I would definitely want to fight a worthy opponent, especially on a card like this. So yeah, we looked her up just so we could know what's going on, but I was ready to say yes to anybody.
Nice. Is it tough at all to face like a newcomer, knowing that, like, I mean, you're the one that's been around, right? You're the one that's putting your reputation on the line, whereas you beat her. We don't even really know what that means yet, right? I mean, so is that frustrating at all?
It's a huge risk. I mean, I'm at the top right now. This fight with Cynthia was a big fight. It was going to maybe mean a lot of things, and so to step in and fight, somebody that's brand new that we know nothing about, yeah, it's a huge risk, but it was a risk I was willing to take to come out and have the Fight Island experience and hopefully cement my place in the division. And so never, like, it never occurred to me like, oh, let's not do this. I literally told Mick, just put me on the plane, I'll fight whoever. So yeah, it's going to work out for sure.
Nice. Have you had a chance to break tape down on her? I mean, is there a lot out there? What do you know about her?
Not a ton, really. I think she's like a lifelong wrestler, which is honestly good. Like, okay, great. She's a grappler. I was kind of preparing to fight a grappler. Awesome. She's got a good record. She was a champion in another promotion, so that's all good. And then I have brilliant coaches in my corner. Alex Cisne is with me, and he is a genius. So within the first 2 minutes of the fight, he's going to know what she's up to, and he's going to be able to tell me what to do to win the fight. So I'm really relying on my coaches to kind of be my eyes and my brain, and then they're the brains of the operation, and I'm just going to do whatever they tell me. That's kind of the plan. That's the game plan.
And the last thing for me, I mean, what would you like to do with it? Like you said, you were in a big matchup that was at the top of the division. You're doing what you can for the company right now. So what do you expect on the other side of this? Is there a quick return? Is there a name? I know you don't want to look past this, but what's the plan after?
Honestly, we just have to see how the fight goes. It really depends on how the fight goes, really. And so I think that's kind of the case with any fight. Like, you got to see what happens in the first one before you move on to the next one. So there's a lot happening in the division right now, though. It's a pretty exciting time to be in 125.
Lauren, you mentioned how big the Cynthia fight could have been for you. So I'm sure whenever an opponent pulls out, it's very frustrating, but this one in particular, did that sort of grate even worse, knowing the repercussions the fight could have had?
Maybe. I mean, like I said, it just depends how this fight is going to go coming up. As long as I give an impressive performance, then I'm in a good spot. You know what I mean? And so really, it's like from this point, I just have to worry about giving the best performance I can. And, maybe Cynthia and I will see each other down the road. Who knows?
In a weird way, is there a silver lining? Because this card is going to be massive, and you potentially could put on a great performance against a newcomer here and make yourself look better than you could have against Cynthia, perhaps. So is there a chance that you get to showcase your skills better than you could have before?
No, I'm going to showcase my skills no matter who's in front of me. Like, my goal and my job is to be 100% on my A game for every second of those 15 minutes. And I'm going to have a great performance, whether it was Cynthia standing across from me or a newcomer or the champion or, anybody. Like, I'm really, really, really just focused on 100% of the time I'm giving 100% my best. And as long as I do that, I really feel that there's not a lot of people in the world that can beat me.
And last thing for me, obviously, the card itself is going to be massive. Gaethje and Khabib are huge stars. I feel like when people get booked on these cards, it's almost a seal of approval from the promotion. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I'm super honored that the UFC put me on the main card. I love it. I feel like I've been grinding so hard, and I didn't. It's taken a while, to get to where I'm at. I'm not one of those girls that walked into promotion and was an instant superstar. I'm not one of those girls that was handed any easy matchups ever. I was thrown in the deep end from the very first fight that I had in the UFC at bantamweight, and I struggled a little bit. When I came to the UFC, I had been an athlete for 4 years total. And not just an MMA athlete, I'm talking an athlete at all. Like, the first sport I ever played was MMA, and I started playing it 4 years later. I was facing Olympians and title contenders and, top 10 opponents. And so I did struggle a little bit, but I learned how to swim, and now I'm one of the sharks in this division.
One thing I find really interesting about your story is that you got into all of this because you took your son to a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to know what your son thinks of you now fighting in the UFC.
He's very proud now. So he was 8 when we did that, and he's 19 now. So he's all grown up and out of the house. But yeah, he's very proud now. I think at first it was awkward for him. I did not let him attend any of my fights when he was a child because I was afraid if I get hurt. No little boy wants to see his mom get hurt like that. So I never did let him see me fight live or anything. As he got older, I kind of left it up to him, but he felt really nervous about it. He would watch them afterward if I won. He was always encouraging. He loved when I would go to jiu-jitsu tournaments. He even signed up for one himself one time. And my last fight against Roxanne was the first one he ever watched live, and so that really meant a lot to me. And John Anik was talking about him on TV. It's kind of making me emotional right now, actually, but John Anik was mentioning him on TV, and I just know, like, he was so proud and so happy about that. And one of the coolest things is that, he's watched me grind for so long, and now to finally be at this level and, like, be in the video game, that's like a big thing for him. I think that really means a lot. That's important for a child to see that in their parents, and I don't know if I could have set a better example for him doing anything else. So
Justin Gaethje just fought number 1 of the division. Does it bother you that maybe she will be the next one to get a title shot? Let's see who's going to win November 21st. You have 3 wins in a row. You've been active on the division. You've been active this year. Do you think she should maybe fight a few more times in the division to see if she can fight the champion? How do you feel about her?
100% she should fight a few more times before, she walks into a title shot. And I understand that that's a big deal. Okay, she is a former champion. She came in, she finished the number 1 contender. It's very impressive. She's an impressive athlete, and maybe she does deserve a title shot, but she doesn't deserve the next title shot.
So to be clear, if you get the victory on Saturday, you feel like that should lock in for you to get the title shot after Jennifer Maia?
Before Jennifer Maia? You know what? It's the UFC is going to do whatever they're going to do. I don't have any control over any of that. To be honest with you, I don't have any control over whether they want to give the title shot to whoever they want to give it to. The most I can do is keep having good performances, keep beating tough girls, keep beating whoever they put in front of me, keep being willing to fight whoever. I have fought everybody the UFC has ever offered me. I mean, there's nothing more I can possibly do, and I think if I just keep doing what I'm doing, eventually they're going to become convinced, and hopefully the rest of the world will too.
With the title fight coming up, if you come out of this one, feeling pretty good, not too beat up, do you feel like you might be interested in being a backup in case anything happens? 100%.
Win or lose this weekend, I'm going to be on weight when that fight happens because Jennifer Maia has missed weight twice in her last 3. And I've done it before for the UFC when a title contender missed weight and I walked onto the card. I will be happy to do it again.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Ultimate Fighter, you're locked in a house. Justin Gaethje is there. Fight Island, you're locked in a hotel just in case she's there. I mean, is it deja vu, or does it feel more like, quite the journey you've been on?
It feels like I have overcome so much. I don't think it's any secret that I really struggled on The Ultimate Fighter, and I really, really value that time now because it forced me to make so many adjustments mentally and physically, but mostly mentally. Like after The Ultimate Fighter, I started meditating a lot. I really learned the value of living in the moment. I learned the value of enjoying what I'm doing. I think I was just so stressed and felt so much pressure. Thank God it happened years ago so that I can have situations like this now and handle it so much better, you know, and I'm super pumped for Justin. It's, you know, it's just been an awesome journey. I'm happy that our paths are crossing again now. This is amazing. It's a really great feeling.
What's tougher, the isolation of Tough or, you know, everything Fight Island and the quarantine?
Oh, Fight Island's been awesome, man. Like, we've been quarantined up in a corner suite. It's been awesome. And I have my husband with me, and my husband is my rock. He's like really one of my biggest supporters. And on The Ultimate Fighter, I think 6 weeks with, you know, no contact, no phone calls, not even music, no nothing. Like, yeah, I lost my mind a little bit, but you know, this really has not been bad at all. Like, we got to fly business class coming over here. Like, the hotel staff has been amazing. I mean, it's not when the quarantine was over, we didn't even leave our hotel room. We like finished having breakfast. We got dressed. Like, we took our time. You know, it really has not been bad at all. This has not been a bad experience in any way.
Final question relating back to Justin Gaethje. We saw you guys on the Embedded episode recently. Do you ever bring it up that you wish you'd gone onto his team first?
No, I don't. Like, to be honest with you, I don't think about The Ultimate Fighter except for when the media brings it up. Like, the media asks me all the time about The Ultimate Fighter, and then that's like when it comes up again, you know, and just like, let it go, you guys. Oh my God, let it go. No, I love Justin. I brought my Team Gaethje shirt just for this occasion. I'm trying to find a good like opportunity to wear it. I don't know when I will, but just I guess around in my hotel room by myself. But the Ultimate Fighter is over, and it's been over for a very long time. My life is completely different. I live in a different state. I have a different manager, myself. I'm part of a different camp. I have different coaches. I have a totally different mindset. My life is so different now than it was on The Ultimate Fighter. You know, I've grown so much. I'm almost a completely different person with a completely different life. And thank God, we should all grow like that, you know, in that amount of time. But yeah, I don't know. The person that you guys saw on The Ultimate Fighter is not the same person that I am today. Not even close. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.